A young mother, heavily pregnant and devoted to her little boy, vanished without warning. Days later, her wallet surfaced in a parking lot miles from home, hinting at foul play but offering no answers. Weeks after the disappearance, partial remains of the mother were discovered in the water, her body incomplete, her unborn child gone, and her 5-year-old son missing. Despite exhaustive searches and mounting suspicions, no one has ever been charged, and the fate of the child and unborn baby remains a chilling mystery. Welcome to Without a Trace. I'm your host, Jalen. Every file holds a mystery. Every story deserves to be heard. This is the Hernandezes story. Evelyn Hernandez was born on February 23, 1978. At the age of 14, she immigrated to the United States from El Salvador to live with her mother, who had come to America first. Growing up, her mother was strict with her, causing Evelyn to leave the home at 16 years old. Shortly after moving out, she became pregnant. Evelyn was afraid of what the future held, but was very much excited to welcome her son into the world. On November 6, 1996, Evelyn gave birth to her son Alex. The moment she had Alex, her whole world changed. Evelyn loved being a mom, and her son became the most important thing in her life. But as a single mother, she also faced the daily struggle of juggling multiple jobs to make ends meet. All while attending high school, Evelyn held jobs at a local hotel and Costco. Alex's biological father was in the Navy and, by all accounts, wasn't in the picture at all. In 2002, Evelyn met Herman Aguilara, and the two started dating. She was proud to introduce Herman to her family as he had a stable job. It wasn't long until Evelyn became pregnant with her second child. Evelyn was due in early May of 2002, and just a few days before her due date, on May 7th, her sister Raina threw her a baby shower to celebrate. But when her sister didn't show up, her family and friends grew concerned. At first, they thought maybe Evelyn had given birth early as she was just a few days away from her due date. But when her sister went to the hospital, Evelyn wasn't there. What they learned next only amplified their worries. Not only was Evelyn missing, but so was her 5-year-old Alex. Raina tried to report her sister and nephew missing, but it was difficult for her to speak with the police because of her language barrier. Raina is deaf and uses American Sign Language to communicate. When authorities arrived at her home, she showed them pictures of Evelyn and Alex and showed them that Evelyn was pregnant. The first thing police did upon receiving the missing persons report was investigate Evelyn's apartment. This provided them no clues as everything looked normal. There were no signs of a struggle, and in fact, it appeared that Evelyn was expecting to come back. Police found a small bag, no doubt packed by Evelyn, which looked like her hospital bag, ready to grab when she went into labor. The only thing missing from the apartment was Evelyn's wallet. The next thing police did was try and construct a timeline of Evelyn's days leading up to her disappearance. On April 30th, Evelyn attended a prenatal checkup at the hospital with Herman. Once the appointment was done, Herman drove Evelyn home. Herman and Evelyn weren't in an official relationship. It was more of a situationship, so the two didn't live together. Herman went into her house to assemble an IKEA bed for Alex that he had bought a few days earlier. With the bed finished, Herman told Evelyn not to worry about going back out, that he would go pick up Alex from school instead. Herman did in fact pick Alex up and took him home to Evelyn. Herman then left the residence, and according to him, he never saw Evelyn again. Around 8 a.m. on May 1st, Evelyn had been on the phone with one of her sisters, Olivia. Evelyn had told her sister that she was having some pain in her abdomen, but the pair hadn't gone into a long conversation as Evelyn had to get off the phone to take Alex to school. Alex's school confirmed he was in attendance that day. After Evelyn dropped Alex off at school, she took a bus to her bank where she made a deposit. From there, she went to a Ross Dress for Less store and bought, from what they could tell from the security footage, a new wallet. After this, there's a gap in Evelyn's movements. It wasn't until 6 p.m. when she was seen by a neighbor leaving her apartment to walk to her mailbox. Later that evening at 9 p.m., a relative spoke with Evelyn about her upcoming baby shower and Evelyn's plans to get there since she didn't have a car. The relative recalled that everything seemed fine during their conversation and that Evelyn seemed like she was in a pretty good mood. As far as the police knew, the last time Evelyn was seen or heard from was on the night of May 1st, 2002, at her residence in San Francisco. Police interviewed Evelyn's boyfriend Herman, who said that evening he was driving for the limo company he worked for. He told authorities that he spoke to Evelyn a couple of times earlier that day. From that point on, he said he didn't see her again. Oddly, Herman told the police that for days he had been trying to call Evelyn. He also called hospitals in the area in case she went into labor. However, a review of his phone records proved Herman only made one call to Evelyn, and that was on May 7th, despite her and Alex having been missing since May 1st. Evelyn's friends recalled that although she seemed happy about being pregnant again, Evelyn had begun to distance herself from loved ones. Then she dropped a bombshell. Investigators asked Evelyn's friends and family about her relationship with Herman, and they all said the same thing, that it was complicated. Why, you ask? Because he was married. Herman was Evelyn's boyfriend until fairly recently, but she had broken things off. After she had gotten pregnant, she thought they'd finally be together properly, but as the pregnancy had progressed, Evelyn had given up on her hope that he would leave his wife for her. Herman and his wife were still very much together, and he and Evelyn had been having an affair. Initially, Evelyn hadn't known that she was the other woman, or that there was even a wife in the picture. In fact, even when she found out she was pregnant, she still didn't know. She had been so excited to find out she was pregnant and began imagining them building a life together as a new family of 4. Except when she told him, she didn't get the reaction she expected. Instead, Herman was less than enthused. To make matters worse, her confusion only grew when he suddenly started distancing himself from her. He was no longer acting like the loving and attentive guy she had fallen for. Herman had started acting so weird that Evelyn decided to contact his mom. She told her about the pregnancy and said she didn't understand why Herman had freaked out, and it's in that moment she found out she was a mistress. Herman's mom essentially said, well, it's probably something to do with the fact that he's married. After discovering this bombshell, Evelyn broke things off with him. Once investigators found this out, they immediately questioned Herman again, asking him about the situation. At first, he said everything was fine between them both, explaining that Evelyn had forgiven him over the affair and they were now preparing for the baby. Investigators, though, weren't buying Herman's story. They pressured him more, and eventually Herman admitted that yes, they were having some issues, but he blamed them on Evelyn's hormonal mood swings and not because of the breakup or the affair. Naturally, authorities tracked down Herman's wife and questioned her. It turned out she was aware of Evelyn. However, she told investigators that she was under the impression that Herman had broken things off with her and that Evelyn was out of his life for good. Police quickly learned that while his wife knew about Evelyn, she did not know about Evelyn's unborn child. She told authorities that on the day Evelyn was reported missing, Herman was driving for the limo company. When he got home that evening, they watched TV and then went to bed together. Police had concluded that Herman's wife was not going to say anything negative about her husband. To investigators, Herman was looking like the prime suspect. Their initial theory for motive was that if Evelyn disappeared, then the pregnancy would disappear and his wife would be none the wiser. The police delivered the shocking news to Herman's wife, hoping she would provide them with damning evidence against Herman. However, despite his wife being shocked, she just carried on. Yes, Herman had lied to her, but she insisted that he was home with her on the evening that Evelyn disappeared. She said that as soon as his shift as a limo driver was done, he came home and was there with her the entire night. This, coupled with the fact that we know Evelyn was fine right up until 9 p.m., it fully accounted for Herman's whereabouts after that time. Investigators did have the fleeting thought that Herman's wife could be lying for him, but the fact that she was very evidently shocked when they told her about Evelyn being pregnant did give her some credibility. Taking her at her word, they moved on from looking at Herman as the prime suspect. No hospitals came forward reporting having a woman matching Evelyn's description, and with no other suspects to look at, the case went cold. But then on May 31st, a man came into the police station to hand in a wallet that he had found. He had found it a couple of weeks earlier and had tried multiple times to return it to its rightful owner, but every time he went to their house, no one answered. Finally, he figured he would just turn in the wallet to the police. When the police opened the wallet, they soon realized why no one had answered the door. The ID inside was Evelyn's. Evelyn's wallet had been found in a fenced-in parking lot in South San Francisco, about 15 minutes away from Evelyn's apartment. Gathering a team and a K-9 unit, detectives headed out to search the area for any other potential clues. Sadly, though, they only came up empty. Not only was there no other evidence, there was also no Evelyn and no Alex. After further investigation of the wallet, police realized that she hadn't lost it before May 1st because inside they found the disability benefits check that Evelyn had received in the mail that very day. After reviewing the store's video footage again, police saw the wallet itself was the one she had bought earlier that day after dropping Alex off at school. While the location where the wallet was found wasn't connected to Evelyn, it was connected to Herman. The parking lot was only 1 block away from the gas station that Herman always used to fill up his limo when working. He used this specific gas station because the main office for the company was only a couple more blocks along. But this alone wasn't enough to connect Herman to Evelyn and Alex's disappearances, and once again, things stalled. 2 months later, that changed. In late July, police received a disturbing report. Someone had been walking along a waterfront area in San Francisco when they spotted something in the water. When they walked over to take a closer look, they realized they were looking at a body that wasn't fully intact. Detectives quickly identified the remains as Evelyn's. Her body was in an advanced stage of decomposition. In addition to this, only partial remains were found. Her legs were there, but both of her arms were missing, and so was her head. Her lower body was so badly decomposed that detectives couldn't tell if she had given birth to her baby or if the baby had been cut out of her. Evelyn's full-term unborn baby, Fernando, and her 5-year-old son, Alex, have not been found. The rest of Evelyn's remains have not been located, and police are no closer to solving the case. Since Evelyn's body was recovered, there has been little movement in her case. Evelyn's case is eerily similar to Lacey Peterson's, who, similar to Evelyn, was a young Hispanic pregnant woman who mysteriously vanished. Lacey's decomposed body was found in April of 2003 in the same San Francisco Bay that held Evelyn's remains. Unlike Lacey, though, Evelyn has not gotten the massive publicity that is so crucial in helping to solve missing person cases. Those who are familiar with Evelyn's case believe Herman had something to do with the disappearances of Evelyn and Alex. According to the Justice Department, about a third of female murder victims are killed by an intimate partner. There is an unconfirmed sighting of Evelyn that puts her at a gas station where Herman was known to spend time. This, coupled with the fact that he was unhappy when Evelyn became pregnant, has led many to view him as the prime suspect. However, Herman has never been declared a suspect. He eventually hired an attorney and stopped cooperating with the police. He was last interviewed by San Francisco Police Department in August of 2002. Thank you for listening to Without a Trace. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the disappearances of Evelyn, Alex, and Fernando Hernandez. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and follow Without a Trace on social media, and join me next week as I dive into another case.